This is your Chapter 77 main event, and it's for the Progress Wrestling World Championship! Introducing first, the challenger across the ring and to my right, hailing from the Isle of Sheppey in Kent, weighing in 187 pounds. He is the 2018 Super Strong Style 16 winner and the greatest technical wrestler in the world, Zack Sabre Jr. In the corner to my left, weighing in 135 kilos and hailing from Vienna in Austria, he is the reigning and defending Progress Wrestling World Champion,
Super Strong Style 16, Zack Sabre Jr. managed to defeat Chuck Mambo in the first round, David Starr in the quarterfinal, Keith Lee in the semi-final, and Cassius Ono in the final. And the words that came out of Zack Sabre's eloquent, but let's say very, very shorthand mouth were Wembley in it. It was not to be. Zack Sabre Jr., although he was the #1 contender, although he made his claim from winning Super Strong Style 16 to challenge the champion at Wembley, Zack Sabre Jr. couldn't make it to Wembley. Tyler Bate stepped in, a man who possibly could have gone on to win that tournament himself. And that's something that I'm not sure if Zack Sabre Jr. and Tyler Bate would want to settle down the line. But Zack said to me earlier on tonight, this is my Wembley. Zack Sabre Jr. comes here to Chapter 77, a sold-out Electric Ballroom in Camden, to challenge the man who he's traded wins and losses with all over the world.
Yeah, from Germany to California to New Orleans and back. These two men have been doing this dance a very long time, and these are two examples of the old Progress and the new Progress. Zack Sabre Jr. has gone on to fly the flag of Progress Wrestling in Japan, coming off the back of an impressive G1 showing, beating the likes of Goto, Naito and Ishii in his path. But then on the other side, we have the Progress World Champion, arguably the biggest name in independent wrestling anywhere in the world. This is his 6th title defense of that World Championship that he holds so dearly. He is the man in Progress these days, and Zack Sabre Jr. is coming back to his old stomping grounds to see if he has still got what it takes to hang here in the ballroom.
The last time these two met in a Progress ring was at Chapter 67 in New Orleans, Louisiana, as part of the WrestleMania weekend, and it was a #1 contendership match. This is probably, that was the match that started off Walter's assault for the title, when Walter defeated Zack Sabre Jr. and Zack spent the majority of his match counter-attack wrestling, giving his body up for the impact of those chops, of those kicks, of those strikes from Walter, hoping that Walter was going to leave a limb hanging. And we know that Zack Sabre Jr. loves when a limb is left left hanging. The body manipulation that he can do, man.
I like to talk a lot about Volta's ring placement and footwork while he's wrestling a match. He controls the ring. Again, we mentioned the ring general thing is not a cute nickname. It is the actual fact. He controls the placement in the ring better than anyone. But the thing that Zack Sabre Jr. needs to do here is he needs to dictate the distance, and he needs Volta as close to him as possible. Like you said, he's going to have to endure some punishment, but if he can get close to Volta, get hold of a leg, get hold of an arm.
Listen to the crowd, Matt. Louder with every chant. The split here in the ballroom. It's almost become a competition between the fans as much as it is in the ring. Volta misses with a sit-down splash. Zack Sabre Jr. misses wildly with the penalty kick, and we saw on Zack Sabre Jr. as he entered the ring. I mean, he was doing 50-yard specials on the bottom turnbuckle there.
And that's it again, and it was that moment, suckered Volta in there with that leg drop senton, and nearly got an opportunity, that opening that he needs. I mean, again, how many times have we said this? It's the same thing with the Tyler Bate match. In theory, there is solid game plan, solid tactics. We said about Tyler using his agility, his speed, his deceptive strength. But the fact is that Volta still got it done. Volta has shown when he has this championship round his waist, he rises to the occasion. He is a big match fighter and revels in main event, big profile matches like this.
Sabre's trying to resist. Volta taking the back of Sabre there. Now, Sabre's done something effectively in the opening minutes of this contest that he didn't do in New Orleans. He almost went on a suicide mission in New Orleans, hoping that possibly he would take down Volta with him, but he's kept that separation. This is the first time we've really seen now Volta taking control, using that power, using that leverage, but Zack Sabre Jr., as we know, can escape almost any situation.
Yeah, and this is the difference between the two men's ground game. Volta implements the basics. I mentioned it with Timothy Thatcher before. Simplicity is beauty in ring camp. Just use the most basic and fundamental move, but do it better than anyone else. Sabre likes to use complicated, more Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu influence positions and catches you when you think you're defending one area and catch you another. In the perfect example there.
And it's not just the abdominal stress he's trying to go through there. You could see him trying to interlock his legs, and once he goes in, clutch by Volta, and again Zack Sabre Jr. If he's in a moment of trouble, he creates separation. That's not what he was doing in New Orleans.
And we saw that trump card that Volta has, that Kirifuda clutch, that sleeper hold, is the move that will stop anyone in its track. And that's the problem Sabre's going to do. He has to close that distance, get in close, but Volta is one reversal away from locking that death grip on you.
And it certainly is. The two gentlemen in the ring now are masters of their craft when it comes to locking in moves. That's exactly right, Matt. It's not just about, oh, well, this'll do. It's about, no, it's like that vice grip, that butcher's hook, whether the feet are intermingled, even down to where the placement is of the fingers for Zack Sabre Jr. in order to keep a hold of those submissional. You can see even the way they're feeling out each other now. Just, is there going to be a limb? And it's as simple as catching a wrist, just like Volta did there with Zack Sabre Jr. And then immediately, like you said, going to the basics, driving the knee down, driving the body down, and now
beautiful Japanese stranglehold there. And these two men have such a great example of European catch wrestling. Obviously, Sabre coming through that infamous now NWA Hammerlock school, and Volta spending a lot of time in Germany around them catch tournaments that the likes of, Finlay, Taylor, Regal all used to compete in.
And Sabre Jr. escaping through the legs, trying to resist it, and they get the stranglehold put back in. So, something I've just noticed, on looking at both of these gentlemen, maybe is, again, they start to sweat a bit to perspire here in the ballroom, and the light show, the definition of their two physiques is that since New Orleans, Volta's trimmed down quite a lot, and Zack Sabre Jr. has actually kind of beefed up a little bit as well.
Well, Sabre's been away competing with the heavyweights. He's been throwing bombs with the big boys. Obviously got that mentor in Suzuki Gun in the form of Minaro Suzuki, who is a big boy and also knows how to grapple as well. So Sabre has really made that transition to a heavyweight.
Well, that's what Sabre needed to do. He just needed a moment.
Reversal.
And now Volta's then scurrying for the ropes. Back elbow. Sabre Jr. misses the chop and has the leg caught. Trip, but a miss at the elbow. And there's that limb. Turning into a pin attempt and only just escaping was Volta.
And there we go. Straight in there. That joint manipulation. Zack Sabre Jr. has a master's degree in bending and snapping fingers and wrists.
And Volta's trying to keep that closed fist, trying to keep his thumb in. But now Sabre using his leg, the stronger part of his body there to isolate the arm.
Yeah, and you saw him go for that crucifix pin. He wasn't looking for the pin. He was looking for the kick out of the pin to get in that double control over the wrist. We've seen him use that hypernormalization before, where he isolates both wrists in that almost reverse octopus. And this is where Sabre is...
and elbows into the kidneys. And now it's not only the lock over the leg, it's the twisting of the ankle as well. And very wise strategy for Zack Sabre Jr. He's got two ways. He either goes after the legs to chop down the man mounted that is Volta, or he goes after the arms to nullify the impact of those chops and strikes from the big man from Vienna.
Oh yeah, you can't feel your arm or your hand. How can you even throw it?
Zack now. Bow and arrow. Pin attempt by Volta off it. Neck bridge by Sabre, and Volta wasn't having any of the gamesmanship there from Sabre Jr. Just a stomp on the head. Now one into the neck. And this is not where Sabre Jr. wants to be. Oh God, wrenching him back with that rope behind. We say rope map. Remember, this is obviously our brand new ring that we brought in this year, and those are cables. I mean, we've been shown it by lots of high flyers who come to us afterwards to say the tautness of it is incredible. It means that high flyers can fly more, essentially, but it also means there's so much more resistance than perhaps a rope which frays over time, which bends. These cords, they stay the same tautness, the same tightness all the time.
Yeah, and that's been a real game changer. I mean, you know, you mentioned Sabre almost going on that suicide mission in New Orleans, and that neck bridge is, we've seen recently from Sabre, he's sort of got this arrogance about him, his confidence. He really believes that he is the best technical wrestler in the world, and maybe that arrogance got the better of him.
Oh, it's out Sabre. He just got caught in a strike battle. You don't want to throw strikes with Volta, and it's that rush of blood to the head. You mentioned earlier on the tactics. They should be sound, but Volta can just make it so difficult for you that you decide to go.
But look at Sabre clinging on.
Volta just trying to stop the ankle. Sabre Jr. like a spider monkey treating himself around, trying to go for the ankle. Oh, there's that clutching. Sabre Jr. Great ring awareness, my goodness.
First time Volta's kind of got it locked in, but didn't quite have the right positioning. You know, we mentioned before about how ring camp's all about competition and respecting the competition. I'm going to go out on a limb and say these two men do not like each other. Everywhere they've gone in the world, the other one's sort of turned up after them, and they inevitably meet each other, and that's going to drive you mad. Imagine being so good at something and then having the person that is equally as good as you turning up.
Volta wrenching the neck of Zack Sabre Jr. And again, the split crowd here. Zack Sabre Jr. has been so popular in Progress ever since he debuted. Remember, was in the main event of Chapter 1.
And he's he's almost been Mr. Progress, and that's no disrespect to anyone else that's come through this company and represented it, but he's almost been this constant through all the chapters, through all the sort of eras, the ages, the changes that this company has been through. Sabre has always been a part of it. I mean, what more could you be a part of it if you finally get that World Championship?
Absolutely, something which has evaded Zack Sabre Jr. ever since Chapter 1. I must point out, Russia blood to the head from me there. We actually got to the semi-finals of the tournament in the first ever chapter back when we were at the garage in Islington. And it was his old, I believe they were called the leaders of the new school?
Yes, it was, yeah.
So somebody who did manage to become Progress Wrestling World Champion in back then Party Marty Skill, now known as the Villain. I mean, it's a similar relationship between Zack and Marty. Anywhere that one of them is gone, again, it's like Volta. The other one has followed them there, and oh my God, what a chop from Volta! Seen what the chops of Volta can do to the likes of his best friend and stablemate in ring camp, Tim Thatcher, opening up the chest in their contest. The chops again in the chest of Mark Davis from Aussie Open, one half of the tag team champions, opening up his chest. And now Sabre's got a body part, he's got an ankle. And he's great behind the legs there. He's got to break it, but he's just kicking away straight into the hamstring.
You see the way that he caught the foot, but isolated the other one to make sure he had full control.
Blocked the chop, though. Got the full forearm. Oh, God, straight to the elbow. Now a kick into the leg. And now Zack Sabre Jr. is starting to dissect the ring general. Kick to the back of the head, sweeps the leg. Penalty kick.
The first opening in this match for Zack Sabre Jr. to finally play his game, and he took it. And took it full force. First isolated the feet and ankles of Volta, and then just going to work on the arm. You can see Volta, as he was trying to get back to a vertical base, checking his arm, trying to get some circulation back into it.
Come on, Zack!
Oh, Sabre once again, this time with an ankle lock. Oh.
Palm strikes into the leg, ankle lock, but nowhere to go, really. Just slim parameters there to work with.
Taking his time. He was waiting for Volta to throw that chop, caught the arm. When that wasn't working, went straight back to the ankle. And this is where the confidence now that Sabre has in his own abilities comes into play. Maybe in the past, the reason why he hasn't been world champion is maybe he didn't believe his own height. Now he is confident and assured of how good he is.
Volta just goozling Zack Sabre Jr. Oh, but leaves the arm hanging in an overhead kick by Sabre straight to the forearm. The right arm of Volta. European uppercut, jumps up to the second rope. Back elbow, but Volta shifts his position. Catches Sabre. Sabre rolls through. Tries to take the back of Volta. Volta moves through. Manages to block that. Maybe attempted a European clutch. But the hand left there. Oh, my God. Anytime either of these two incredible wrestlers give an inch to the other.
That's the first time in this match that Volta has used a chop as a defensive move. Like, we've seen it so many times that he dictates the distance and pace with them. That's the first time where he's had to swat Sabre away for his own own benefit.
It wasn't dissimilar to where Zack Sabre Jr., when he suddenly found himself in trouble earlier on, he went for that strike. The difference is that Walter outweighs Zack Sabre Jr. by certainly in excess of 50 pounds. I'd probably say nearer 70 or 80. And when Walter lands a strike like that in defense, you have to give the power game the advantage, the leverage advantage to Walter in terms of wrestling defensively.
You can see now that them strikes are taking it out of him. Clutching at his arms. Oh!
The sweat flew off the head of Walter there on that strike, but Zack Sabre Jr. Oh! Legs just went from under him off that forearm.
I think, if anything, that slaps just woke Walter up. Coming from someone who's been knocked out a lot in his life, sometimes that second strike's the one that wakes you straight back up. And Sabre's certainly got the attention again of the ring general.
This is reminiscent of New Orleans. The rolls of fuck off. Walter taking the back. Another overhead kick by Zack Sabre Jr. Now trying to kick out the leg, now trying to take the angle. He's got the legs hooked. His legs are grapevine as he talks back. Now he's got the ankle. Now trying to use the forearm.
Yeah. Trying to get that underhook on the ankle.
With the ankle lock. Oh my goodness. Forcing Zack Sabre Jr. to release the grapevine. Now the busted crowd.
That is deep. All that weight just hyperextending the back. Sabre into that STF.
Sabre's trying to stop it by turning his head. Walter's got it across the forehead rather than the chin on the back.
And that is the thing that is keeping Sabre alive. If that was lower down.
Sabre needs to get a finger here. Oh, I was going to say get a rope, and that's exactly what he does. Great ring positioning by Sabre.
Walter trying to get better control of that cravat. But Sabre knowing exactly where he was. And
the dull thud into the chest cavity of Zack Sabre Jr. Sabre catches the arm as it comes in. He's got it held across the rope, wraps it around, forcing his weight into it. Oh! That stiff cable around the arm. But Matt immediately going back to what he knows best.
But he has control over the wrist of Walter, managing to escape. And that's another part of this, that all that damage to the arms of Walter are going to affect the grip for that sleeper hold. He might not be able to get it in quite as deep as he wants to.
Sabre makes the ropes as his arm's chopped away. Rolls.
European clutch!
Pin it down by Sabre! And Walter just kicking out. That's an incredibly difficult pin to kick out of. Sabre has his arm caught. Leg caught rather. German.
Double underhook, suplex.
Lateral press with the forearm across the chin, but a kick out by Sabre Jr. Now, Matt, at this stage of the match, when both men are exhausted, I've got to give the edge to Walter up to this point, because Walter has definitely landed more damage on Zack Sabre Jr. in terms of the strikes. But do you think that Zack Sabre Jr. in that manipulation, considering that he's so well versed in the little things that he does, surely Walter's body must feel like it's gone to the front of a car at the moment?
For sure, and I keep going back to how much Walter's checking circulation, and it almost in his forearms and his wrists, because that is where the control is for the sleeper hold. For any sort of grip or hold, that's where Sabre's work might come back and do him justice later on.
Even then, but
he's got to survive shots like that.
Walter grabbed a handful of hair of Zack Sabre Jr. You could see Zack trying to grab the wrist, but that forearm. Oh, palm strikes by Sabre Jr.
Zack Sabre Jr. spends his time with Suzuki gun these days, but he's taking shots like a bazooka from Volta. He's got that front face lock in. And he's going for the arm as well, man. Yeah, maybe looking for that figure four arm lock. And Kimura needs to get wrist control over it. No.
Volta could be going for that championship. Oh my God. Right on the top of his head. But Volta can't capitalize. I mean, sometimes you try and think of clever things to say as a play-by-play commentator, or in Matt's case as a color commentator. But when two men are just punching and fighting and scrapping, and the two men at the absolute top of their game, when their names are Volta and Zack Sabre Jr., and the prize is the Progress Wrestling World Championship. I mean, sometimes you just want to watch. Volta's holding Sabre up.
And backing him in. But,
I can't tell whether Sabre's pulling Volta down or Volta's holding Sabre up. Oh, God. Well, that time was definitely Volta holding Zack Sabre Jr. up as he went lifeless. Oh my God, knee into the stomach, and Sabre defiant to the end. Oh God, what a knee lift by Volta. Front face off by Volta.
the Sabre once again with that transition, looking for a triangle. Don't think he quite has the legs where he wants it to be. There it is. That's a great switch there. That's better control around the neck.
Now needs to hyperextend the arm.
Absolutely.
Lost wrist control though.
Volta
powering Sabre up and Sabre. There's the full extension. He needs to hop. He needs to rise back.
He's transitioning here.
And now he's moved across. He's got the green button in the left arm. Now the right arm. Now he's got it locked in. No effort. Volta to go. He's not close enough to the ropes unless he postures round, tries to get his hips there and then.
Just got that armor platter in, and now he's trying to just isolate the overarm as well. I don't think he's quite got the leverage he wants. Another transition though.
Going for the cross armor. He's got his leg underneath there, allowing Volta to roll the shoulder. And Volta manages to roll and get the ropes. My goodness.
That was literal fingertips away from getting what he wanted. He had that omoplata control on one side, but couldn't get the arm in the point where he wanted. I think he was looking to try and separate the elbow and manipulate the forearm and wrist once again, but that is Volta. That's the thing that we don't talk about with Volta, is when he gets on the mat, he is no slouch.
The incredible card we've already had here at Chapter 77, we have got a World Championship match for the ages. Well, Zack Sabre Jr. now he's almost teeing off, stalking, and as you just said, Matt, teeing off on the champion. The challenger now. Oh. And just like that, a chop from Volta can change the complexion of this match.
But Volta is just dropping to his knees. I don't think I've ever seen Volta in this much pain, or at least visible pain.
And they're still screaming at each other. Strikes down by Sabre. Slap it to the chest. Volta could be going for that big lariat. Sabre sees it, kicks the arm away. Oh, God!
sleeper hold, center of the ring.
Zack Sabre Jr. needs to get his feet out from underneath him. He needs to transition somehow. Walter is literally crouched over him, making him right his way while he's got that sleeper locked in.
Sabre is...
If Sabre's arm drops a third time, the champion will retain. Sabre's still alive, though. Powerbomb. Oh. Nails it. Stacks him up. But Zack manages to kick out before 3. And imagine having the blood cut off to your brain from that sleeper hold, then being dragged up into the air. And then, let's be honest, almost dead weight and dumped on the back of your head and still kicking out before the count of 3.
Anyone else in the world would have been finished there, but somehow the man from Sheppey Island still in this fight. Oh, Walter here. Bad position to be in for Sabre.
Zack Sabre Jr. goes behind.
Switches it round.
Here it is. Walter manages to escape.
That's bad. That is bad. That is bad. Sabre is injured. Walter has jumped on him. Oh no! And he's captured that arm. He's looking for a crossface and he's wrenching away. Walter smelled that injury, that little moment of pain.
And now just hammer fists. Zack Sabre Jr. has to try and defend
got that cravat in.
Locked in. Sabre Jr. needs to get into the fingers. He's trying to get them released.
Oh,
if he gets those fingers released, he's got a chance of escaping it. He's still got the fingers. Sabre Jr. is strictly counter-attack wrestling now with another meat hook of a clothesline.
He's somehow still fighting.
Zack Sabre Jr. now just eating those palm strikes, those fists, those hammer fists onto the shoulder.
Fire thunder from Walter.
Cover by the champion. And he defends his championship here in a hell of a contest.
The winner of this contest, and still Progress Wrestling World Champion, Walter!
That was one of those matches, Matt, where at one point I forgot to breathe. That was unbelievable. 2 men absolutely at the top of their game, masters of their craft. It's a pleasure to have people like Zack Sabre Jr. and Walter, never mind involved in Progress, but involved in professional wrestling.
And like a predator smelling blood, the minute that Zack Sabre Jr. showed any sign of weakness, Walter jumped all over the challenger and put him away with that fire thunder driver. But what an absolute display of professional wrestling. No cute little sublines, catchphrases or nicknames. That was the perfect example of professional wrestling and the perfect example of Progress Wrestling.